I always get all this peeling when we really
Well,
ramp up.
there's a big clearing. I'm going to talk about that. That's why I
Mm,
wanted to do this because I
yeah.
think we're really going through another big purge. Everyone's saying, "Oh, we don't need to do that anymore," but we don't have to do anything. It's going to happen whether we like it or not.
Who was on? Who was on? Yeah, exactly. So who was on yesterday, and they had a good explanation. No, 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 no. I had, which I rarely do. I met with somebody, a lady that a lot of people know.
Was it
Uh,
Judith?
no, I can't say right now. I can't say. No,
Oh,
no. What? No, I've met with Judith privately before, but
mhm.
so no, I met with this sister yesterday. You would know her. Most people would know her. She's one of those you've never heard her speak. She writes. You can tell. It's like, oh, she's got it. She's very obscure. Very in the background. So we were
Okay.
talking, and she actually did some stuff on me too, and it was crazy. And I never do that. People say, "Can I do this?" And I'm like, "No, no, I do my own stuff." But it was crazy because she was like reading my mind. It was crazy. But anyway, so she was telling me, and she's hyper sensitive. Like stays in
Yeah.
the house all the time, and so on.
I know
Anyway,
that's one.
we met because she's going to come on later this month, into the month. But
Oh,
I
cool.
don't want to divulge it until she gives me
Okay.
the. But anyway, so that's what she was telling me because we were talking about
We're still going through purging.
July through the 22nd November. I don't know what the exact dates, but July through November sometime was like hell week for all of us. I mean, all these relationships broke up. I mean, me and Morgan had a rough time. I mean, and we knew it was the energy, but man, it was crazy. And then,
Yeah, we're being put through some major stuff.
oh
I
my
think this
God.
portal, and today the moon is in Cancer.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to talk about all this because
We're gonna
I
talk
got it.
about it,
I
but
was
I just
walking.
want to reinforce what you were saying because she said the same thing to me, and then I was talking to Morgan about it. So this is what happened.
Yeah.
So she tells me just nonchalantly as we're talking about everything, and she says, well, yeah, and it's gonna ramp up here for about 2 weeks,
Yeah, I think
and
I
she
think
said it was gonna be intense, and then I mentioned it to Morgan. She goes, well, I don't think it's gonna be intense like that. And I said, no, I don't think so either. I think what she was saying, now, I don't know if this, I'm not saying this is gospel. I'm just saying, I think there, at least, now we'll find out, right? But to me, the intensity it does feel different. It feels like um, up until, let's say, solstice, it was, and I've been purging, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's out,
oh
but
yeah.
it was much more shadow workish intensity, type of, oh, why is this here again? And a lot of people were in the hospital. A lot of people got hurt. And
Yeah.
then,
I had another surgery. I had another cancer diagnosis, and luckily this time it was a tiny one, and they were able to get it out without me having to do treatment because I wasn't going to do the treatment. This is my fourth one. I'm like, come on, people, really?
when did that happen?
Um, well, October, I got the diagnosis on the eclipse Scorpio moon of all times.
So
And
November?
then, no, it's like, oh my God. But then I had the surgery on December 13th,
Oh, wow.
and I'm still healing. But, I decided what I've learned about, and this is also to be brought up on the show. We only have this moment. We really have to do our very best to stay in the moment and
Yeah,
enjoy as
yeah,
much as we can because you keep going through all these shifts and twists and turns and challenges, and it's like you could get immersed in it to the
yeah,
point where, oh my God. And I said no more. I don't know how long I have, but whatever time, I'm going to enjoy it. And
exactly.
that's what the focus
I,
has been lately.
I woke up yesterday like that, and I wrote a piece in the morning, which I hadn't done in a long time, and part of it said, um, I don't remember how I phrased it, but in other words, we know this. We know we're dying and birthing
Yes.
at the same time, and like
Yep.
it's like you said, it's just this complexity, but we're always living. That was the whole gist of it. We're always living. But anyway,
Now, are
back.
we on yet or not? We're
What's
not
that?
on
Yeah,
yet?
yeah, we're on. We got
Oh,
51
it's a
people in the
lot.
house.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll get right
okay.
to it. But I want to tell you. Okay, so what we got. Anyway, the way I came out of that was I like, okay, and she didn't say specifically, I think it's what Morgan was feeling. It was kind of what I was feeling. That what's happening since, I guess, January 1 or post Christmas, there's so much information coming in, like never before. Like memories, I'm having Orion War memories coming back. I'm having Galactic War memories. I had Anunnaki. I was put into the. I was put into. I was put into the essence or the being, or when I was one, which that doesn't really resonate. Not that I have a problem with it, but in other words, I had to be the distorted masculine on our timeline. So when Atlantis got, and it was really interesting too, Maryanne, because we often, if not always, we look at not so much Lemuria, but Atlantis. Oh, we were higher consciousness beings in Atlantis, and yeah, but don't fucking forget that we screwed the pooch. We did it. So as I'm having these downloads, I'm going, wait a minute, that was us. So we've come back to fix our own bullshit, which is really just That's more macroscopic of what we're doing with our lives. And that was the other thing with some of what came in yesterday morning, which I didn't even remember till now, which was talking about what you're talking about, which is probably why I wrote this piece, or some of it, because it was basically saying that it's, what's been happening to everybody. Everybody's being pushed, forced, whatever, nudged to be present.
We're being ushered forward, and this energy that's coming in, it's stronger and stronger. And I think this particular portal, and if you want, I can go right into it now. I didn't want to cut you off. Did you want to?
No. I was just saying that it was along the lines of what you're saying.
Yes.
And then the other big one was, like, obviously we've reconnected to all of our multidimensionality. I see it like a DNA, right? Like a strand, a spiral, and we're like the tail being the human being aspect, conscious in their body, and it's always upside down. So on one hand, we're being put in, we're basically, everything's been done energetically, as people talk about, and we're now experience the let's just say the success of that, or the evolution of that, that whole thing energetically coming into alignment and such, and that we're really close to pushing through. And I think I should say again, but that when we do, I'm going to tag you, when we do, it's not like anything we thought. So I'm feeling like, seriously, like teleportation, we might use that word, or consciously traveling, your body goes with you, and you're conscious. This happened to me last week. So I don't know. I just think that there's a lot going on. But anyway, you got the rundown. We're about to hit a corridor from February the 2nd to February 22. I don't know anything about it. Fill us in. Tell us what's going on. Whatever you want to do.
We're not. I don't think we're about to hit it. I think we've been hit. We're in it.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people, including myself, the dream state has been so vivid and intense. You wake up. 3 nights in a row, I had dreams or experiences, we'll call them, with water. Literally to the point where one of them, I woke up and I went to feel my feet because I thought I was still standing in the water. And I'm like, are my feet still wet? And I'm like thinking, oh my God, this is really intense. I woke up because in the dream I was in water, and in the water were these lotus flowers, and I was standing in the middle of them.
Wow.
And I've talked to so many people telling me they're having all these water dreams. And, this portal, Aquarian gateway, Aquarius is an air sign, but it's the water bearer. So even though it's an air sign, it definitely, represents the water bearer. It's this image. A lot of times you see this image of Aquarius. It's either a man or a woman, mostly a man, but I've seen some really nice ones I posted on my page of a woman out in the cosmos pouring from this huge urn, these sacred cosmic waters down. And I felt this when I really started tuning into it, that this is an opportunity. These waters are sacred, crystalline, cosmic waters. That's what I call them, being poured down on us to cleanse and clear away the old programming, the old density. You know, it's nothing new. We've been going through this. This is the nature of ascension. But, you know, I keep hearing, and I say this myself, oh, we don't need to clear anymore. We've done enough. But that's not true. We're always going to have something to move through. That's how nature and life is. We are in a constant state of motion. Even when we're in stillness, our heart is still pumping, our lungs are still breathing, you know. And so I'm seeing this. I got a download last night while I was watching something on TV. It came in so strong. I said, okay. I started writing it down, and then basically what they were saying is that this experience with this gateway is very much like it's a metamorphosis. It's like the caterpillar is in the cocoon gestating in this gooey chrysalis, like this watery, gooey substance. And it's like we're in this deep sleep when we're in this cocoon, but then eventually you transform, you know, into this butterfly with these great, gorgeous wings, you know, awakening and really ready to take flight into a whole new way of being. And I feel like that's what is going on. But in that process, when you're in that gestation, you know, it's like you said, all this old stuff coming back from Atlantis, from the Anunnaki, from the whatever star systems we've connected to, is really coming up in people's faces right now. Like, and like you said, we're the ones who created it all. We're the ones who came back in to shift the consciousness and help Mother Earth, even though she knows how to take care of herself without our messing up. But we did choose this. We volunteered for this. So this gateway, I also see it like, besides that butterfly chrysalis cocoon thing going on, I could also see it like the phoenix, you know, down in the underworld, you know, that scorpionic energy going down into the dungeon, you know, into the dark forces, which we need, because that darkness is where the light is born. So we're down in there, we're going through whatever we're going through, and then all of a sudden here comes this phoenix, you know, in these flames, you know, sprouting out, coming out, and just taking flight again. So there's this like awakening, remembering, you know. I look at also this number, the number 2, which is in the Tarot is the High Priestess. It's the Divine Mother. And this number 2 is representing, and interestingly enough, today the moon is in Cancer. It's the mother, it's emotions, it's nurturing, it's nourishing. Are we nurturing ourselves? Are we nourishing ourselves during these experiences? Because I think it's extremely important, whatever we're going through. It's up to us to take the responsibility to take really good care of ourselves. Because I don't think we expected that life would, I know for me, I could say this, I never thought it would get this crazy. Like, I thought if somebody had told me, I would be like, oh gosh, really? I can't even imagine what that would be like. But here we are, and you know, it's the pagan holiday too, Imbolc, Saint Brigid, you know, the fires of Saint Brigid. It's also Groundhog Day, which is Imbolc. And I'm thinking, oh, this is cool. We have all this stuff going on. How much more can we take in to transmute and process and shift into these new timelines? Yeah, the timelines are here, but we have to keep balancing. Like, sometimes we're here and things are getting a little too crazy, so now we have to step into a new way. Like, all right, I've had enough of the crazy. I need some calm. It's like this navigation, you know. It's like becoming a magician and being able to like weave in and out of all of this stuff going on. Um, and we're about ready to come into a full moon. Depending on where you are geographically, it's February 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
It's a full moon in Leo.
And the comet's running. And the
Yeah,
comet's.
yeah, which is good because full moon in Leo, it's coming into the light and it's in a fire sign of the lion, of the magical child. And really, it's a good opportunity that no matter the chaos that's going on in your life, if you have that, don't forget to play and have fun because we can't wait for it. If we have to wait, it's like you have to live now. This time is about be here, be
Mm-hmm.
now, in this moment. Yes, things are going on. Things can be crazy, hairy, scary, whatever. Um, but find ways to navigate the journey where even on the tough days that I can take a moment to myself and be kind to myself or go out with some friends and no matter what have some fun because and I know sometimes it's not easy. Some of us have been going through some major challenges with our health, with our relationships, with home life, with losing jobs and but here we are and I used to go through this major fear about things and whatever they were, and I'd say, well, what good is this doing me? So instead of like, you know, wallowing in it or trying to kick it away, I decided, let me sit with it. Let me sit with whatever's coming up. So I think this time, this gateway, I also feel maybe because we're coming into the closeness of that Leo moon and Leo represents the heart, I feel like there's a lot of heart expansion, a lot of opportunity to, even if there's grief, let that grief flow, let the tears flow. The sacred, think of those sacred waters being poured down on us. Let it flow, let the energy move to you, through you, and out of you. Because I really, as a matter of fact, we might even do a little meditation, a guided, meditation doing that, because I think it could help a lot of people if everybody would like that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we are heading into that full moon in 2 days and 2 or 3 days. And as we then lead up to that 22nd marker, yeah, because it's another 222, throughout this time, it's a wave. See it as a wave, and we're riding the wave. Yeah, we may fall off through the wave and get clobbered, and okay, you get yourself back up. I just came back from Florida. I had a few days, almost a week in Florida. It was nice to break free from the cold here. And I think that's why I was also having all these water dreams, because I could finally feel my feet in the sand, in the water, and just immersing myself and thinking this is a huge cleanse. And as soon as I got back, the next day I started feeling like I was getting sick, like I was coming down with a flu. And I said, no, this is Ascension flu. This is an upgrade. It's like, a frequency upgrade that I'm going through. So instead of, let me, instead of giving myself a hard time, let me assist myself by nurturing myself, by letting whatever needs to move out that's not serving me. Because it's just an old program that goes around and around and around in the ego, the mind. It's like, not that that's a bad thing. I just posted something about the ego that, ego is part of us. And if we continue to bash it or avoid it, that's like you're just not being kind to you. And my ego is a part of me. Yeah, my higher power, my divine being, it's all here to be integrated. And I think that's what this is. We're going through like not just a purging and clearing. It's now that I've released something, how can I integrate all of me so that I can just be the wholeness of who I am? Come into that holy wholeness of who I am. That's what's been coming up for me.
Yeah.
For many.
Yeah, well, I think last month I saw a lot of people, one way or the other, talking about the root, like never before. like you know, people, back, lower back, tailbone problems, hip problems, sexual distortion issues are coming up, or traumatic memories. I know we did Morgan and I did a session. We did 2 sessions, like say in the last 5 days, and the second one we were told to release it. So we hadn't done anything like that in months, many months, and so we put it out, and it was actually the second part, because we realized later that the first session was the first part, and in that first session, there was and this happened, and again, this wasn't about us. This was also, I think this was something that was occurring, or at least available to people. And again, take it as a metaphor. But so we're sitting there, and we're laying there, and I start feeling this electricity coming up my leg, which I had been having. I've had before, but it's gotten really, really strong, like almost where it's vibrating. So it comes up my right leg, my masculine side. It goes into my groin area. Then it shoots down my left leg, bounces back up, and then it was like somebody implanted a yoni in me. And I saw it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, Morgan, am I a hermaphrodite now? What's going on here? Well, she was having the same thing happen. But we didn't talk about it while it was happening. In fact, she started laughing. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm getting it up my left leg." So it was, but there was some kind of circuitry that was opened, and then in the second one, the one that we released, it was this blockage at the sacrum. Now, after we released that thing, and I'm listening to it on the live because I'm watching it as I'm engineering it, I started to remember that my one brother and one sister both had surgery to remove that tail. I don't know if you ever heard about this, but it's evidently pretty common. My dad was a medic, so he was pretty. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's kind of ironic or not ironic, but that where the reptilian tail went in is where we have this massive block in the most strategic area of our chakra system. And so, like in her explanation, all of that stuff that happened, we suppressed in that little spot. Anyway, this meditation, which a lot of people have, I think about 6,000 people have looked at it after we went live, and it seemed to be engaged in it. It opened that blockage, and then there was a free flow of all the chakra channels. So I got to believe, going back to what you said and about like what is this going to be, I think for me anyway, and I'm not saying this is the way it's going to go, but it just seems like there's the intensity is always there, right?
Yeah.
But the intensity is now, how do we play with all this stuff that's coming online? And I keep getting these very simple, profound, like mantras that I'm getting. And one of them really just comes down to, and this is what I'm getting, what I'm understanding for myself, which is all about judgment. It's all about judgment. I'm being told, like things like put yourself in the space of people that you're distant from, people that you don't identify with, people that you see as different from yourself. And of course, a lot of this equates to the show, and
Right.
like, you know what I mean? So it's like to be able to sit in the space with anyone else. And for me, it's telling me, go find the mirrors that you have the most misalignment with, no matter what happens. If I knock on someone's door and they don't like me and I know it, and they unfriended me or whatever, or somebody told them something, this is actually true. I have a sister that we haven't spoken to 3 years. Very connected. And I'm talking about a soul sister. But yeah, what happens if you knock on that door and they shut it? The important thing is what I walk away from the encounter, no matter how it turns out, with no charge, which is no judgment, which means straight compassion, which obviously we begin with ourselves. So I don't know. Is it going to be do you think that we're going to have a lot of more stuff being purged out? I mean, I understand the purging. Well, I understand the removal because there's no way for the light to come in.
That's right.
And until we're full of the light, which is probably not in this lifetime, but I mean, certainly some.
We don't know. That's the other thing. You know, the thing about this journey, and we could have all these theories and experiences, and they're all important. We're always in an unknown with it. I mean, we could say, well, we know some things, we do, but then there are these unknowns about it. And my sense is we're doing the best that we can. And yes, judgment is a huge thing. Forgiveness is coming up really strong. I was having major stuff last night after this download about forgiveness. Like you said it. Put yourself, that person who did whatever to you, no condoning here, but that person who did this, and that, switch it. Put yourself where they are. What do you think that feels like for them? Like, I've done this. I actually, last night, I thought of someone who really did something very unkind to me, and then I sat with, let me put myself where she was. And the first word that came up was, or it said, please forgive. Please go to your heart and forgive and let this go.
Right.
And I had tears in my eyes because it made sense. It made sense in that moment when I was feeling like, I said, oh my God, she must have been in a really bad way. And yes, she did project it onto me. I didn't deserve it. But don't do to her what she did to you. Pull yourself back from that scenario and touch her heart with your heart. And, I did this with her heart. I called in that part of her. I said, I'm really sorry that you were having a difficult time and that, you thought I did whatever. But I'm here. I'm connecting with you. Now, I don't know what will happen from this. Maybe nothing. We may never never come together. But there was something in that moment that I felt lift. Like, oh, you can now really just let this be. Because I do think there's going to be more and more opportunities for us. Like you said, let go of the judgments on ourselves and on others.
Yeah. Well,
let go of the animosity. Get rid of all that, yes, I'm angry. It's okay to be angry. I'm not a big fan of this, anger is a low vibration. Anger is a human emotion. Mm-hmm. What makes things a low vibration is if you get stuck in them and you don't pull yourself out. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that. Fear is, I choose love over fear. Great. But fear is part of us sometimes. And why not say to the fear, like it's a small child who's afraid, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you're having a hard time. Like I was saying about my friend. Fear is just another part of who we are. And it's what we do with it all that makes it negative, not the emotion or the experience itself. Does that make sense? At least that's been what
I think what you're saying is that if you look at the scale of consciousness, for instance, if you look at it and find your place or whatever, in terms of like what's your MO, like what's your standard operating pattern. Now, if you look at those items in terms of the moment, then yeah, absolutely. Anger, and this is a great thing that the humans have, that we have, that's unique to us in the universe, which is the alchemization of emotions. Our emotions have been sustenance for other energies and other beings and planets, etc., for millennia. But now we are conscious, and again, going back to, I remember 10, 11 years ago, they told me, it's very simple. Don't get into the complexities. And these simple, profound truths are coming back. And this one about, and it's everything and everyone. So it's my mother, my father, my wife, my kids, my friends, strangers. But in every situation, beyond cliche, it is me. It is me. I ordered everything. So every time that I see myself as separate, and I know this sounds like it could be very, is it that easy? But think about it. We're stepping into a space or creating a space, 5D, New Earth, whatever you want to call it. There is no judgment.
No.
There's no need for forgiveness because there's no judgment. So there is a straight compassion frequency, which is no judgment. And how do we acclimate ourselves with this new energy? Because that definitely feels like it's happening. Like the instant manifestation things are like mind-blowing. The synchronicities, mind-blowing. And then the sequential unfoldment of everything is a synchronicity almost in itself. It's like a cadence. So
and we come in to have these experiences. It's part of what the soul, it wants to have experiences. So it makes complete sense. That's how it makes growth, is to go through something directly.
Yeah, that's right. And then so when it comes to, see, we've all gone through this, right? Like early in my awakening years, it was like, oh, I'm going to go to this person who's been a real asshole, and I eventually, did the same, right? So you go in, you say, I'm sorry. You do it in the 12 steps. You call people up. I'm sorry. But that's not where the gold is to me. The gold is, I do say this to myself a lot. I forgive myself, and it's become very automatic now, because in the previous, I'm trying to think of what something that's happened recently. But let's say somebody does something to me that's unwarranted. It went from me. It went from the attention on the person to now it's on me. So I forgive myself for getting pissed off. I forgive myself for actually sending that message. I forgive myself, and boom, I'm done. Okay. Now, I love what you're saying, because that's an exercise I've used for years. I think we talked about this before. But if you can't, if part of your alignment, your compassion for yourself, it helps to bring these people up. For me, it does. Bring the people up every day. I look at them and take it as far as I can, because you don't have to be in front of that person. That's the point that you made. You can actually pull that person up. That person's you. People say, "Oh, you can't pull my higher self up." Well, I don't think that's true. I don't think everyone can do it. Maybe, I don't know. But if I am the creator of this universe, which is really ultimately what this is, then I'm responsible for every single thing. I have the ability to create and to because intentions are everything. So your intentions, that person is going to feel.
Intention creates. I mean, that's it. Yeah, and I do think that we really are at a time. How can I cultivate better relationships? How can I cultivate more compassion for myself and others? Unconditional love. Coming into this unity, of being in oneness with others. And I'm not saying that that's always easy and it's going to work with every person, but again, it begins with the self. If I can feel within myself compassion and unconditional love and the oneness within myself, it's not going to matter what others do or don't do. I did my part to the best of my ability. And to look at that other person and say they're doing their best, and that could be a part of me too. We all, like you said, it's this mirror. Maybe not every single thing is a mirroring, but I would say a good portion of it is. There's also situations that come into our lives, I think, also because people say, oh, well, what are you not paying attention to? If this person did this, it's something I said, wait a minute, maybe the lesson is for me to say, wait a second, you're not going to bash me like that. You're not going to harm me. I'm going to stand up here and say, wait, I don't deserve to be treated this way.
Right.
And take my power back. It's not always about, well, what didn't you learn or what didn't you do? I mean, sometimes it is. And even when it is, okay. But now I get to say no more. Don't, hit me over the head anymore. I got it. Or, even if I don't have it, that's enough now.
Yeah. But, okay. So, but the thing is, okay. So probably the best example, I think, is Empath narcissist. And you're a practitioner, and I'm not, but I've probably done 10 sessions in 10 years, specific friends of mine or whatever, that it revolves around, and a lot of work with myself revolves around empath narcissism. In typical scenario, and most people here can relate, I'm an empath, I'm in a relationship, I'm with a narcissist, and I live day in and day out. This is a lot of our stories pre-wake up, because a lot of these relationships ended and then boom, we woke up. That was part of it. But I remember talking to this one lady in Hawaii, a friend of mine, and she had this situation for 8 years, and I just said to her, "Do you see yourself in him?" "No, I do not. I am not that person. I am not a narcissist. I do not act like this person." That may be true, but it's still separation, and there is no in between now. So empath narcissist is one and the same. I'm a narcissist. It doesn't mean that I might be an extreme narcissist and I do really nasty things, but I have frequencies of narcissism which are rooted in inferiority or superiority, really inferiority, that's posing as superiority. But the thing is, those encounters, to your point, may have nothing to do with your human behavior. I think a big part of one of the big handicaps we have is we try to appraise our performance as a human being using linear appraisal systems.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to judge Soulogy by the number of views and likes and etc., we'd be nothing. And I certainly don't think that we're nothing. I just realized through work and through living these with all of y'all the last 10 years, 11 years, the evidence of the energetic impact is showing itself now. So I think that, sometimes these things come up to let us know that we have it active in us. Because like you said, these things that want to be hugged and talked to and embraced, these parts of us, they're all parts of us. So
that we've denied.
That's right. So why is it that I get triggered by my two chief antagonists in my life throughout my life who are extreme narcissists? Because I haven't claimed that part of me. So I had to go into the little nook and cranny where it hid and say, you've been a narcissist before because you felt you were superior, period. Do I need to go on? And then I can go on. So I think, the whole emphasis now being on the self, really, cut and dry. If you want to anything you do for yourself, and you probably could write a book on this because of what you've been through and how we've had you on the show when things were happening and how you handled it, because you took it all into yourself. There was no external blame. It was so if you have self-respect, you will respect others. If you have self-love, you will love others to the level you love yourself. So I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth.
No, but it is the truth, and that's, listen, we all showed up to be on the planet at this time. I mean, we've never made it this far. I mean, some people say, how do we know that for sure? But it's like you could feel it. It's like I don't even have to question it and go up here and start figuring it out. There's something in my being, and I'm sure a lot of people I know, because I've had conversations, there's something in you that knows, wow, even though it's been chaotic and it's been a difficult experience, I've made it this far. That means something. No matter where, I'm going tomorrow or what's happening, I've come this far. We've come this far. We have to start looking at that. No, we're not perfect. No, we're not up on it. We don't belong up on a pedestal. We're not above anybody else. Nobody is below us. But we've made it this far, and if we don't look at that and say, yeah, I know I have this narcissist thing, or I have this, part of me that's reptilian, whatever you want to call it, but I've come this far. On my knees, I've been many times in the dark night of the soul, and I've come this far. And if we could look at that part of ourselves and honor that part of ourselves, we start to not only treat ourselves better, but we treat others better. Because I think all the lashing out and, oh, how could you do this? And it's like, there's something in me. How could you do this to me? When I berated myself or give it, like you said, judgment, oh, what's wrong with you, get over it, or do. No, how can you not look at yourself like that tiny little orphan being who's just looking for its mother or father to please take me in your heart? I'm frightened. I'm scared. I don't feel safe. That was the thing that came up for me last night when I was having the download. I had this vibration going on in my chest, and I thought, oh my God, I can't breathe. And then I realized it took me back to, it was a PTSD moment where I did not feel safe. And I was like, a part of me was waiting for my mother and father. Well, mommy and daddy didn't come back then to take over and care for you in that moment. But right now, that's not happening. It did happen, and I'm here. I took my hands, I said, I'm here for you. I'm right here, right now, with you, and you are safe, and you belong, and you are worthy, and it's okay to be in a mess right now and not know what to do. That part, can I just sit with that part of myself? Like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do. What do I do with this feeling? Just, it's okay. You don't have to. There was and in that moment, when that happened, the vibrating energy started to calm down. It was like it was waiting for me. It was like poking on me, saying, hey, you've forgotten about this part. When are you going to pay attention to me?
Yeah.
And I see this happening with a lot of people lately. Maybe they're not wording it in the same way. We all have our own experience. But I think it's happening with a lot of us right now. We're being really put through these opportunities to stop for a moment.
Yeah.
And turn within and say, okay, what am I not looking at?
Yeah. Well, yes. And, I always appreciate everybody's comments.
I don't know if I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, you have comments. There's a like a little thought icon.
Oh wait, I see it there.
Yeah, you just click it and
there it is. Okay, now I see everybody. Hi. Sorry, I didn't see this before.
And I'm not, and I appreciate everybody's comments, and I appreciate this one. This is from Faye David. Thank you for the comment. And I'm not talking specifically about what he's saying here. There are NPCs amongst us. Okay. So this comment he's making, reflecting on, it's never them, it's always me. Okay? And I keep coming back to, it's an all or nothing proposition. When we're in the other dimensions and we're doing our thing, we don't have a lot of stuff that we deal with here. Because most of the stuff we deal with here is a product of the program. So this is where it's become very easy to me, where I can go back to it's never them, it's always me, because I realize now that every single thing that we've judged and considered unethical, immoral, etc., or superior, or sanctified, or vilified, has been part of the program. It's not part of us. It's part of our. It's the data and the material contrived or created for us to create living code, universal code that could only be made here. Now, if the reason I brought up the thing about the NPCs is because there are so many different narratives out there that we have spent enough time attaching to belief systems. There's only really one belief system now. I am soul. I am soul. Because like even if you look at something like the NPC question, Edgar Casey, Franco Di Nicola, Dolores Cannon, all spoke of this 60-40, 65-35 percentile, where the lower percentile was the souls in a body. But in the latter part of 2019, by many people's narratives, downloads, they talked about how many souls, like literally billions of souls dropping in. Right? So I posed the question, and again, I try to see everything as a metaphor. If that's the case, and 40% are actual soul embodied participants, and 60% are NPCs, and we got 6 billion drop-ins, well, maybe all the NPCs are getting a drop-in. Now, I look at it from an energetic standpoint. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it follows the expansion of our trajectory. If you look at it from a metaphoric standpoint. And I guess really what I'm trying to say is all of that stuff out there, all of those narratives, they are part of the system. Were they part of waking us up? Yes. But are they part of our operating system from this point forward? I don't think so. Because if they are a byproduct of the program, then I can easily forgive that in myself. First, boom, I'm done.
That's why we're here to shift out of the old way, because we can't take it with us where we're going. It doesn't fit. It's like, what's that expression? Putting a square in a circle, or a circle in a square, whatever it is.
A square peg in a square peg in a round hole. A square peg in a round hole. I agree. We definitely, how long, like I say to them, how long do you want to go on with the old story of who you think you are? And okay, what do you think you're doing here? Well, my soul came into this life to have experiences, and in that moment of saying to just come in to have whatever to honor all of it, even the worst parts of it, even the parts where it just hurt the most. But that's what I came here for. Right.
And that's okay. That be okay. Because yes, we definitely are soul. We are in a human vessel. But if you take the human vessel away, you're the divinity that shines. So it's like, how can I shine my divinity as a human being and not get caught up in the story?
It's hard.
That's always been.
It's hard,
yeah,
and it runs rampant. It runs rampant in these communities at times because of what Hung just said. The biggest collective trigger is actually righteousness. So this is a big trigger for me now. I admit it, and I'm fielding it because when I hear you have to, you need to, I know this about you, I think bullshit. Bullshit, because the minute I latch on to that, I'm giving my power up. Everything is self-contained within me. Every single thing, especially now, as more and more is coming online. We are self-sourcing. My friend Ty Hudnall calls this year the year that the guru falls. Now, he's not speaking about anyone specifically or in a negative way. What he's saying is that people, and you can already see it happening since late 2019. We've talked about this. How practitioners' sessions have changed, how their clientele's changed, how their modalities have changed. And so what's happening is people are innately, because every time we share, every time we start talking about things we never talked about before, okay, in all ways, and specifically about the human journey and the things that have held us down, we open code in each other, and I think that's what he's referring to. In fact, I know it is, where we've got enough source material, we've got enough people building the patterns, which are then extrapolated into the grid, like your own measures of evolution and transformation over these, especially over these last couple of years. Now, this is four times you've gone through this. Those machinations of your soul are imprinted, and it's disseminated out through the grid. It's available now. Now, that could not have happened anywhere else but on Earth, and that's your point earlier, which I
That's right.
give you big props for, because really we've spent too much time beating the shit out of ourselves, and then when something comes in or something happens, oh, well, why did that happen to me? Something I must have done is wrong. No. This is actually we're actually writing code, and we can start to give ourselves some credit, which is what you were saying earlier, and I think that's fantastic. And that's the way to go.
First of all, honor and appreciate yourself for having the courage to even show up on the earth plane and go through what we've been going through. And it's not about having a pity party and, oh, poor me bullshit. No. Yeah, I showed up for this life, and yes, it's been one hell of a freaking ride. And boy, am I going to have a lot to share when I go back to spirit, even though they're probably watching us all. We don't need to say a damn thing because they already know what's going on. It's our future selves looking down on us saying, wow, look at that. This is really interesting. Did I actually go through that? So it's, I'm finding myself more than ever, and I didn't think I could get to this place after getting a fourth diagnosis, having gratitude like I've never had before.
What did you feel when you heard the little one, the last one that came up, the little whatever that was?
I said, "Oh, fuck you to hell!" I said.
But that's real. That's real. That
was it. I needed to say that in that moment. I was like, because it was on a Scorpio eclipsed moon. I said, "Are you kidding me with this? Are you?" And I'm like, "Of course not. Of course not." And I thought, all right, I'm allowed to have my temper tantrum, but now you need to take the next step. Get off the floor in the puddle of tears. Take the next step. Don't even start to question, oh, why this, why me, because that's pointless.
Right.
I'm going to trust the process. Whatever this is, wherever it's taking me, I'm not alone. I'm loved beyond measure. I'm cared about. I'm appreciated. I'm not walking this path alone. That came in very strong. And I said, no matter what's happening, I'm going to make it every day as much as I possibly can, no matter what's going on, diagnosis or not. Be gentle, be kind, feel your feelings. I'm not trying to avoid it or say anybody should avoid it. But we are so much more than these minds can even comprehend. That yes, we have a mind in the human sense, but the soul knows the way.
Soul knows.
Soul knows. And it's like, what an exciting time to be connected to everyone, to all of us. That some of you I've never met in person. We've been friends on Facebook for years now, and I feel closer to you than some of my own blood relatives. And I'm so, like, the gratitude I have for, the people who've shown up for me, even when someone reaches out to me on Messenger and said, just want to know how you're doing and I'm thinking of you and my prayers are with you. That's like, I go into tears because I think if you don't realize by now how loved you are, you better wake the hell up fast, because it just goes to show me. I think the compassion is rising and expanding, the unconditional love. I know there's still stuff going on. I'm not saying, believe me, I don't watch the news, but if ever I turn it on and I see, we don't even know what the truth is anyway, but never mind that. It's no matter what's going on, the knowing that my soul is beautiful I love you, my beauty. This is what I say to I love you, my beautiful soul. I believe in you. I see who you are. I'm grateful. You know, all these little things. And then to look at someone else and say, I see your soul. I know your beautiful soul. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I know we showed up here to help each other, to get through these times, to be the crazy, the wild, the narcissist, whatever it is. It's all in divine order.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a good while to really sit with that one day and say, wow, it's really okay. And in that moment, because I was having a rough day, I right in that moment, I said, I'm going to go out and do something fun. And I did. I'm going to go out and enjoy my life now.
Hmm.
You know, before it gets too late, I want to offer a transmission, a little
Mm-hmm.
meditation, something to, because you're all giving to me and I want to give back. If we have time, is there anything else you want to?
No, I just want to point out to everybody that throughout, I just found this out. We don't need to go into detail, but I just want to say point out to everybody that through all this, Maryanne has connected with someone at a very deep level. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because of what you're talking about. And even when I look back at my past and people talk about, oh, you did this and you did that. Yeah. Well, I lost my mind, which my way of saying I was in hell, going through everyone has their own, right? But at the same time, I found the light, So what I'm trying to say is that we have this, we've come down here in a polarity, which provides contrast. We made this one, the last 11,600 years, a grossly distorted dualistic polarity, which took us into the nastiest, grimiest from a human perspective, and even a soul perspective. I believe our souls took some pain.
Oh yeah.
And so, what I'm trying to say is there's such a myriad of streams running now, especially they're integrating physical, non-physical, let's just say soul and human, that any and every one of us, without externalization, without being on the tit or being codependent, can find the gold in our lives every single day. So to talk to you and to hear you say, I went out and did something and had some fun. Like, that was probably, I don't know, but that probably maybe reversed, eradicated, or transformed some cells in you, just that decision.
Yes, I definitely felt that, because I could have stayed in that place that wasn't comfortable, and I'm not going to even judge that if I had done that.
Right.
That's okay too. But I said, no, I'm going to, and I don't know what'll happen. Maybe I'll come back here and still feel this way. Well, it completely shifted me.
Yeah.
Does it always shift me? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. In that moment, it did. And that, to me, was like finding a gold nugget. So,
Well,
yeah, I can have fun even when there's chaos in my world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chaos is there. It's okay. I'm not going to, not pay a whole lot of mind to it, not avoid it, not abandon myself.
No.
But take myself by the hand and say, all right, chaos, let's go have some fun now. And or you can come back and you can have your pity party if you want, but I'm going to go out and have some fun. That's what I do.
That's what I like to do too. Sometimes I do it too much. No, I'm just kidding. I did, but no. But and last thing too, let's get to the meditation, because I think it's going to be very powerful. It always is. But this whole thing with the forgiveness, we have to use certain terms to communicate to ourselves, like with your self-talk, and even with each other, to get to the point where we no longer need it. But for me, the forgiveness thing doesn't it doesn't sound it sounds different than it is for me. Now I don't know how everybody else is, but for me, now it wasn't at first. At first, it was, oh my God, I forgive myself for doing that. I forgive myself for doing that, as it was coming. But now it's like, oh, I forgive myself for not knowing. I didn't know.
Exactly.
You know, how can I forgive myself for being on a program that we didn't know we were on? So I forgive I hold the program in its proper place. That immediately forgives everybody. So
That's
I'm good. I'm good. Now the only thing I got to contend with is the movie script out there, which if I'm doing what we're all doing, and since COVID, really, I mean, all this self-introspection, all the alone time. But if I'm really doing what you're saying and doing what you do, which I feel that I am, and probably everyone here, and continue to take everything to myself, every single thing, then that outside world will convert. And I think for me, that's like my number one goal this year is I am soul. I affect everything on the earth. Every single thing. If I think Biden's an idiot and Trump's an asshole and this and that and this and that, you know, what am I doing? I'm a conscious thought quantum creator. And I either own it or I don't. And if I don't think that I have that type of influence, then, you know, what the hell am I doing here? If we're not here to make this code, and I really believe we're doing it. But, so yeah, this is a powerful. It's always powerful when we sit down together. But yeah, let's rock and roll. I just want to say too that I had three friends in the last 2 days tell me that the Lion people came to see him. So
it's interesting you're saying that because the first thing I heard for the transmission is that the Lyrans are here.
Well, that's why I said what I said, because but this is part of what's happening too.
I heard Lyrans are here.
Yeah, I mean, but this is part of what's happening too, and that's why I said something, not knowing you were going to say that, but the fact that we're telepathing and intuiting, and it's becoming a standard part of our communication as verbalization will become less. You know, Thundercats. Dorian said Thundercat. Yeah.
Thundercat. I love
Lyrians.
Yeah, totally are. Well, I'm getting interesting. Feels like Lyrans, the blue avian, a couple of Syrians, Venusians. Interesting. I hear there's one Arcturian. I'm like, is it me? They're laughing. Anyway, wow. There's a bunch of angelics. It feels like some Elohim angels are here. Okay, so I'm hearing that this transmission, it's the crystalline sacred waters coming in through this portal. And it's funny because it's now after 2 p.m. So, I know, interesting. They're saying that the crystalline cosmic waters are pouring in. All you have to do is receive them. And these energies are not only for cleansing and clearing, but once it cleanses and clears, you have the ability to come more into center, to root down into Mother Gaia, to ground yourself in her essence. Open your heart if you're feeling there might be some vulnerability coming up for people today. And all you need to do is allow the fluidity. It's because think of the waters. Let the waters flow, because when the water is stagnant, that's when dis-ease and disharmony take place. So this is to help remove any dis-ease and disharmony, to open our hearts to each other, to our souls, to remember that we are soul having human life, sharing our gifts. We came here from the stars to share our gifts. And with that, hold an intention for yourself. Drink lots of pure water. If you can get into water with your physical human body, that would be nice too, at some point in the next day or two. So with that, all you have to do is receive in the name of soul, in the name of light. Ostand iatia kutoi ita noje. Mas venendar iar lasso kashendiar kasu koshea. Mot undira muktataria tanoshana. Anturi aqua ita lifalayana. Anusatur ikishendir atatur ira. Mejarina angens onzatsitsatsudu. Alukatur e si kashusia. Hushtad edur ira nira satu. Asutita kiato. Mashasandori sa sushisa. Saturi shatu. See, the Nagas, the serpent spirits are here. Anturi jezon zatu zijatu zijasu jizatsu jizatsu. Arkutor ikatendo dira. Meshur urvataku. Ushkatar ishtatatun deata kua. Mansuria ya nono jei kasova ya. Heloina no nadaro batur irakusato itamato ivarondar. Mejin anzur idar iakwa. Ishtala netsat sutsat 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 sutsat. Iatar iadano. Alua ikam enzen anja uamia. Meshulai ifan sansut iravai. Kandura yama nuaya biayika. Bia utkat utata. Kaisarana usumia. Woshana elaya. Itar ovea kesa moia. And breathe. Drink plenty of water. Ground yourself into Mother Gaia. Awaken to the knowing and remembering that your soul is magical, creative, beyond blessed to be here at this time. We give thanks as this transmission is complete. And so it is. Gat urvana shekatar utea. Meshalaya ondad.
Thank you.
Woo. Thank you.
You just lit up the crowd here based on these comments. So are you in Jersey now, or are you in the city?
I am. I'm in New Jersey right now. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, nice and sunny. A little cold, but sunny and nice.
Cold. It's been cold down here. I'm down in Houston, and it's been 35 degrees. Okay. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's been crazy. So what do you, okay, let's go back to this corridor. I know you talked about it, but in terms of like, and again, we're not going to hold you to, but like, what can we do from the 2nd through the 22nd? What things can we do to be on our toes, and maybe even to actively, like actively focus on something in terms of like expansion. Like, is there something that we could look at, or at least an area we could look at where we can go, okay, I'm going to focus on creativity, or I'm going to focus on forgiveness, or whatever. What would be
I'm
the things?
they're saying that it would be good to, in the morning if you could, or any time, but if you have a journal, just do free writing. Don't, unless you have a question and you're not clear about something, you can ask and see. Just do free writing, because in the free writing, it's coming from a different place than the mind. And the free writing, they're saying, will help you to not only release stuff that's been inside, but to show you what you can look at. Like, from now till the 22nd is an opportune time, to put a good focus on the things that make you happy, that bring you a feeling of lightness, that expand your heart, that wake you up in a way that really brings you bliss, joy, happiness. And it's okay if you're not feeling that way and maybe anger shows up. Let that come up too. And with the anger, they're telling me, look at the anger, talk to the anger, and say, it's okay. Take the anger by the hand, even if it's troublesome, and say, I got you. I honor you. I respect you. I love you. So they're not, it's not like, no, that's denying, and it's separation. Now, they're saying, just don't think about it. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
The feeling of the knowing. And if you try to understand it here, you can't. But if you feel into the knowing, they're saying, and you could even say this, I feel into the knowingness of my soul. I feel into the knowingness of my soul. I am soul.
That's right. Great answer. Thank
and
you
lots
for that.
of music, they're telling me. If you like music, to dance, to sing, to listen, to play it, the music is the flow. It's like the water, they're telling me. It's like the water, even drums, it's movement.
Yeah.
And that keeps out the stagnancy. That helps release things that are dormant and stuck. Use essential oils, drink lemon water in the morning, hot water with lemon, they're telling me. Eat clean. Get lots of rest, but get out in nature and take in fresh air. All of these things will help you move through these times, not only to the 22nd, but continue it on beyond that, is what they're saying. I like that. Deep Waters of Consciousness from Angela Campbell. That's beautiful. Yeah, painting. Wonderful. Absolutely.
Far out.
Thank you so much for having me on, Todd.
Yeah, that worked out all right. I mean, I've been in like this mode of trying to, once I got down here after all of last year and everything that happened, and so I got over here and I'm like, how do I do this now? Like I can't schedule a whole month. I can't schedule 6 weeks. And I got 500 people that want to come on, and I get at least a dozen to 15 requests a day.
Wow.
And so
you're rocking it.
it's been this way, but it keeps getting backed up and backed up. So how do you do that? Do you go to the oldest ones and then you start from there, or do you give some you give some credence to the power of flow and that type of thing? So it's a combination.
Yeah,
well, that's what's been. Yeah, it's like the little of 4 different things. because there's 5 emails, number one, and then of course there's Messenger and all that. But so it just worked out really well. So when you sent it, I was like, oh, bingo, this is perfect.
I know. I thought, why not? I'll give it a try. You never know.
You never know. And for anyone out there, and I know people have got messages and they're getting cobwebs on them, and some of them get answered faster than others. But you can send the messages as many times as you want. It's not going to offend me. So, and sometimes the squeaky wheel. What is it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So, but no, it was perfect timing. It was perfect timing.
Yes, it was. And I am going to, people have been asking me about some of my webinars because I put them on hold, but I am getting ready to put out a webinar on star seeds and the ascension journey. And you can,
now,
I don't know if I can write in here.
Yeah, I can write it for you. I can put it on. I don't know if you have do you have the text here? Hang on a second. So, hang on, I got it. So is that on the web, or I'm sorry, is that on your website?
My website is sacreddanceandsound.com. I'm also on Facebook. Just reach out to me. I'll be posting about it. I'll be putting out an event page on it. And then some people ask me about the light language and the overtone harmonics. I'll be doing that too, but I want to first get the Starseed webinar going. Yeah. And then the light language will come later. I'm still doing lives and whenever I feel like ready to pop on and do something.
Are you really? Yeah. Sacred Dance and Sound. Is that the way you spell it?
Sound.com.
Is that the right spelling?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so there we go.
That's it.
So Facebook, direct, or sacreddanceandsound.com. And you've got, what is this that you have coming? What was it called?
I have a webinar series on star seeds and the ascension path. Okay. And then I'll be doing something on light language and a couple of other things, but I want to start with that. And because people have been asking me about, what is a star seed? People know. There's some people that don't, and how can I tap into that? Well, there's actually a lot of fun stuff that I bring into the webinar that we do on Zoom, and I rather not do recorded. I record it, and if you want the replay, you get that, of course, but I like doing it together as a group rather than pre-record and send out material because it's fun gathering together, even if it's on Zoom. It's just a different experience, so I'm doing it that way, and there will be replays, so if you can't make the actual webinar, there will be replays, but I'm hoping you join us. It'll be fun. It always is.
Yeah, anytime you have the live mechanism in there, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, because you're also working off the group that shows up. Yeah. And that, to me, is the important piece of it. If you just pre-record stuff and send it out, that's fine. It's still good information, but it's not the same. I've noticed that when you have it together with everybody showing up, whoever shows up are the people that you're creating this metamorphic field of cohesion with whoever shows up, and it's really powerful.
That's right. That spontaneity does a lot. That whole thing does a lot. Really does.
Oh, it's 222. Look at that.
There we go.
Well, I have to go because I'm on my way outside to go do some.
Go do what you got to do, and
Thank you so much, everyone. It was a joy to be here with all of you, and I'm going to go look at the comments later. Thank you, Todd,
thank
for
you.
having me on.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate you.
Of course.
Much love and hugs to everyone.
All right, you take care. Best, all blessings to you and yours, whoever that may be.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Okay. Well, y'all take it easy. I know you're in the honeymoon mode.